Many a times there are people who are thriving in this world and living absolutely magnificent and abundant lives, but sometimes they end up in looking at others who are not living as privileged lives as they are, and that tends to generate a lot of negativity and sadness within their own minds. But that is detrimental to such a person's energy, and there is an alternative which you can practice as well. Subscribe to my YouTube channel Awaken with Sagar, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. You may be surprised as to how and why I'm wearing this tilak despite being a spiritual life coach or on this spiritual path. I'll talk about that at the end of this talk. But it is very important to realize that the moment you start looking at somebody else with sadness, when you feel bad about somebody else for any reason whatsoever, that it is what starts generating in your energy. That is what you cultivate as your energy. So if you are living a very, very abundant life and you feel sad about somebody else's non-abundant life, if somebody buys shoes worth rupees 50,000 for example, and he looks at somebody else who cannot afford shoes more than 800 rupees for example, and if this person starts feeling bad about this person, what happens is that you start generating that within your energy. That consciousness, that poverty consciousness or that lack consciousness starts seeping into your own energy by the virtue of your negative energy that you have generated. So it is very, very important to stay emotionally detached from everything that is going on around you, everything that you see as part of your experience. You cannot be looking at a diseased or an unwell person, feeling sad about it, and still feeling healthy in your own life. You cannot be looking at somebody who is poor, feeling sad about it, and still experience a very, very rich or wealthy or abundant life. It is just not possible. You cannot be looking at something unwanted or negative and still continue to feel good in your own life. Therefore, the only job that you have is see how you can grow everything that you have with you, within you, and evaluate as to whether you can share that with somebody else or not. If you can, good. If you can't, just leave it be, because every single person has come with his or her own intentions in this world. Yes, of course, evaluating as to whether you really need shoes worth 50,000 or not is good. It is always helpful to save resources, not just keep saving forever. You are supposed to spend as much as you save, whether it is money or energy. But evaluating is one thing, feeling sad is another thing. So when you make the choice to not buy shoes more than say 2000 rupees because you saw somebody who cannot afford shoes more than 800 rupees, that is negativity. That is that lack consciousness. That is where you start disrespecting or not being loyal to your own role. You are not following your own path. So it is important for you to continue to stay in the state of abundance and see if you can do something else for somebody else or not. If you make a change in your habit and decide not to buy shoes worth more than 2000 rupees because you don't feel the need to buy shoes worth 50,000 rupees, that's different. It happens so many times with me as well, that when I'm eating something that is expensive and I see somebody who cannot even afford a samosa worth rupees 15, I wonder as to whether I should be spending so much on food for my own self. But again, first of all, everything that every individual does is a choice of his or her own. Every person has come with their own intentions and they have to work towards what they want to have in their lives. You cannot work for somebody else. You can inspire somebody else. You can help somebody else. You can be with somebody and empower them. You can help them grow. You can give them ideas. You can share what you have, not necessarily money always. It can be knowledge as well. It can be a better understanding of life. It can be very good ideas, tips and tricks about life. And help that person realize and expand in his or her own life. That is all that you can do. Now, even if you impart all the knowledge that you have learned in your life so far, be it about finance or spirituality or about the mind or the power of the mind, that person may or may not implement that, because it is not just about how that person is physically focused. It is also about how that person is, how that soul is, how much that soul intends to grow in this particular lifetime is the crux of everything, essentially. And that is what decides whether that soul or that person chooses to do something or not in life in general. So even if you share something, that may or may not always work for that person, because it is that person who ultimately decides whether to do something or not. So focus on what is in your hands always. This may also be true for your own blood relatives, in that you may have worked hard, of course, to reach a particular stage in your life, to reach a particular level in your life, and you may see someone who is very closely related to you, who is not living a life that you would feel good about when looking at that person. But it is very important for every individual to stay in their own state, their own elevated state, and then see how they can empower others to achieve something. I have given this example a couple of times already, that there was someone who wanted to attend a 30-day fun spiritual workshop with me, and she did not have the money to pay. It was just 750 rupees at that point. I think this is about 2016 or 17, and I did not give that person discount. I did not let her join for free at all. I asked her to join the next time, or I said, borrow money from somebody else if you want, or pay in parts if you can, and then join the activity. What happened as a result of that was that she suddenly magnetized towards herself a few students whom she could teach and earn as a tuition teacher, and she paid the fees and very happily attended the 30-day activity. This is empowerment. This is a classic example of how you don't have to just keep giving and disempowering the opposite person. It is very important that you empower the opposite person and help them do something on their own which can help them grow. It is not only an achievement but also expansion. Here's what I do whenever I see somebody who is probably not living the life or not being able to experience those simple things in life that I am probably able to experience. Two things that I do are, first of all, I remind myself that there are so many others who are doing such basic and simple things that I am not able to do. So everybody has a level. First of all, there is hierarchy is real. And secondly, I ask myself whether I can help this person, whether it is a stranger or a relative, a friend, a colleague, or an acquaintance. I ask myself whether I can help that person in any way, whether it is monetarily, financially, or in any other way. If I can, I go ahead and help that person. If I can't, I just give out good thoughts, maybe a few good words to that person, very indirectly, in a very, very empowering way, in a very subtle manner, and just move on from there, because this world is abundant. It is every individual's job to just grab pieces of the abundance out there and make their own lives beautiful. You cannot fall sick for somebody else. You cannot become poor for somebody else. You cannot be rich and feel sad for a poor person, because that is what you'll start magnetizing towards yourself. If that is what you want, go ahead and do that. If you don't think this is true, do try, not recommended. The very simple logic and understanding behind this is that if you are rich and you want to help a poor person, you cannot be feeling poor and doing that. You cannot become poor and help a poor person, isn't it? You have to continue to feel rich. You have to continue to be rich. Through that consciousness, through that energy is only how you can help a poor person. This applies to all other examples as well. Now, the reason why I have been wearing this tilak the reason why I still visit temples is a blog post and slash or a life hack in which I have written or said that you don't have to discard your old beliefs or understandings about life. You definitely don't have to disrespect any of that. There is something I like to call latent beliefs which are always present within you because you have lived that life for a long time now. So it is important to continue to respect your past as well, not disregard it, and definitely not disrespect it, and enjoy everything that this world has to offer.